Yo, 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 what's the deal? It's your boy, the Kid Blast. We up here at Firehouse Ignite. I got my boy here with me, 8MatikLogan. What's the deal, my boy?
What's poppin', buddy?
How you been, man?
Good, good.
See, you got your haircut, you looking spiffy.
On real.
What made you get the haircut?
Just like, there's a couple reasons, but like really on some spiritual shit. Like I've been looking for like a rebirth, you know what I'm saying? Like some new energy. And yeah, kind of like the physical aspect is symbolic, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And kind of just shows the, transformation from like the inner sense as well. So just like a fresh start type vibe. And then too, like, my life is real. Like, are you familiar with like method acting?
Absolutely.
So like, it's something similar to that where like, as an artist, I be going through shit, but then in real life, I be going through shit too.
Right.
So I feel like there's this war that I'm fighting, or like this, these demons that I'm battling, and I just kind of wanted to have that energy.
Interesting. Do you feel like there's a difference between 8Matik, the fucking rapper, and who you are as a person? Like there's like almost like a split personality?
I wouldn't say a split personality. I think the real person is the source, and then maybe 8MatikLogan is a vessel or a channel for some of that energy.
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. That's dope. I seen you've been staying busy, dropping work. You just released the album that if life is long, if you know how to live it.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So I got the idea for that album, when I was reading a book by Seneca. It's called Seneca on the Shortness of Life. Life is long, use it. And I just kind of like was inspired by that book. It's about stoicism. So like, I just really wanted to take that energy and put it into a record and just use that like as a source of inspiration for, a group of songs, a body of work. And I made the whole record while I was living with my boy Mario. Just like sleeping on his couch, waking up every day, just making shit.
That's the dopest vibe though, when you're locked in like that.
Yeah.
I feel like when you can just, you're creating until you're tired, and then you rest, and then you wake up, and then you're creating again. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, that's what I do all day anyway. But like, for that little moment, like the way I view art and music is just like documenting these certain periods. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, culturally, we have that. But like for individual artists too, you get to kind of document what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And I think that's a dope, one of the dopest things about making music is like, especially for me, somebody who's so like keen on that. That's how I literally remember my life. You know what I'm saying? Like the moments of like what I was working on at the time type shit.
Yeah. It's funny because like when I heard that the name of that project, before I even took a listen to it, I was like, man, this is a dope ass name for a project. And it kind of just like brought me back to just like my own life. You know what I mean? Like I used to think life was short, you know what I'm saying? Until I had friends die young and all that. And I didn't think I would live that long. And like, now I'm here, I look back at like all the eras of my life, and I'm like, I've been thinking life is long if you know how to live it, you know what I'm saying, on my own, without ever hearing the song, without ever hearing the title of the album. I was like, just kind of brought me back. And
you know what's crazy? When you read a lot of these books like on stoicism or philosophy or even psychology, really any book, you start coming across things that you kind of subconsciously already knew, but somebody just kind of articulated that idea or put words to those thoughts or that intuition. And that's how I felt with that too. And Seneca gives a good example in the book. He talks about like a man that died at 30 but lived longer than a man that died at 90 because he compiled a way more fulfilling experience. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like he took risks. He didn't leave anything on the table.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the person that just coasted, they maybe have been blessed with 90 years of physical health, but they didn't really live much.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Also, too, I feel like if you can learn from the mistakes of other people, not just like your own mistakes, you can kind of correct the path you're on before like shit really hits the fan. Before you crash out, in a sense. Is that kind of like the message you were trying to impart with this album? Is like, you know what I'm saying? Life is long if you know how to live it. Like if you know how to make the right moves, you can basically extend, you know what I'm saying, your stay on this planet.
For me, the overall spirit of the album was just to embrace the moment and live in the moment and just allow yourself to be.
That's dope. I noticed that mental health is like a big part of your message and your music. I definitely feel like that's really important right now during this era of like unprecedented post-traumatic stress. You know what I mean? I think you speak on that topic in a real way. Sometimes artists kind of come off a little corny or cheesy when they rap about it. You know what I mean? And I feel like the way you express yourself, the way you rap, especially like. I don't get none of that. Like I don't get none of that. Like none of that corniness shit that I be feeling when I hear like a lot of rappers. It's almost like some rappers are using it as a way to sell music. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, a lot of
And
people.
to me, when your shit, it sounds like authentic. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that. A lot of artists just approach it from the sense of like a marketing ploy,
Right.
or like a way to get some attention, or like they think maybe it's PC and be like, okay, we have to talk about this because the cultural zeitgeist is super revolving around that. It's super heavy on that right now. So it's like,
Right.
It might be a little bit trendy, but like for me, it's not a ploy. It's not like a move. It's not a play. It's literally, I go through that shit every day. Like what I was just telling you, like for cutting my hair, like it's like, bro, I have to lock in with that mentality like I'm going to war every day because creatively, I'm fighting the music industry and trying to switch the standard. I'm trying to change things. And then psychologically and emotionally, I'm fighting another battle. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not like a thing where I don't really have to try much. I'm just literally speaking what I'm going through.
Right. Well, that's dope, man. It's good to see that you have that creativity and that expression like connected so strongly. You know what I mean? Like some people, it takes a lot out of them to piece that, to bridge that together. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's in a lot of ways it's like an effortless thing for you to do.
I'm just being a vessel, man. I'm just being, you know? Like you don't really have to do too much when you're just in the flow state.
Facts.
And I'm kind of just trying to really live in the flow state and embrace that shit on a moment-to-moment basis, you know?
Yeah.
Creating or just like living.
One of the first songs I heard before I even heard the album was that Candles. Shout out to TikTok. Well, there was a lot of great songs on that. Like, what made you pick Candles as like that first song that you wanted to push before? You know what I'm saying, dropping the project.
I mean, I knew when I made the song, the second verse was like special. I was like, yo, the second verse is crazy. And so me and Mario we was just walking DT, just shot a quick little video on the phone, and I posted it on TikTok and it went up. And so I didn't really even pick that record. The internet kind of picked it. Yeah, they were just like, this shit is hard.
Right.
I kind of fucked up at the beginning because the record wasn't out yet.
Right.
And it got like 250,000 plays on TikTok.
So you kind of
So I kind of had to like mix it really quick, submit it, put it out. So I kind of missed out on a window of like a month and a half. Yeah. But still did well, and it's still doing well now. I think it's at like almost 70,000 on Spotify.
That's dope.
I don't even know what it's on Apple Music, but yeah.
Yeah, Spotify's a lot easier to read when it comes to numbers. So you dropped that album, and then you just dropped like a little 3-song EP, that Black Roses with John Walsh. First song is like straight to the point, barred up, and it's a stark contrast to that album. You know what I'm saying? Life is Long. Is it important for you to have that balance between like serious songwriting and spitting bars, you know, for the fun of creativity?
I don't really think that much into it like that. I think for me, it's just important to create whatever it is, and whatever, you know, sonically, visually, whatever capacity, just put those ideas out there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be boxed in. I don't want to feel like I have to do this specific thing. Like clearly I go into some sessions, everything is different, so some sessions is more, it's more intentional. You know what I'm saying? I might have an idea and I want to like execute this idea, but for the most part, man, I'm not thinking like this will be dope juxtaposed or compared to this, like, or I already accomplished this, so let me like, no, I'm just like, how am I feeling right now?
Yeah, that's dope.
All right, just do that, you know?
And then, was that release like a spur of the moment, or did you guys have that planned out to drop around this time, or was it just like, yo, we just finished these songs, like this shit's hot, let's put this shit out?
I made that when I was out doing a show in Massachusetts. It's really bro's.
Bro shit.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So he was in control of all of that.
That's what's up. And John Walsh, you said he's from Massachusetts as well?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's where you met him?
Yeah.
Was that the first time you got up with Buddy, or you guys had like a prior relationship?
Bro been supporting me for a long time. Like, you know,
shout out John Walsh.
Yeah, shout out my boy. And then like, you know what I'm saying? They booked me for a show out there, and that's when I met him. We just got in the studio.
That's dope, man. Yeah. And you know what's crazy is like for somebody that you haven't really made music with in the past, like you guys really sound like you've been making music together for a while. You know what I mean? Like
that's dope.
He was like starting his verses with like the last word. You know what I'm saying? The last bar you were using, like he was fucking rhyming with that. It was just like it seemed like some real Jada Styles type of, you know what I'm saying, shit. That it was. I like the energy that you guys brought on that.
Fire.
These songs. And then I understand you got another project in the works.
Bro, I got like $1 billion.
But I think I heard you was dropping something like in June, or you plan on dropping something like this summer.
Yeah. So next album is called Distorted Reality, and it's more of an alternative album than it is like specifically one genre. I'm trying to move towards, like I said, a more fluid approach and genreless music, where it's like I'm just combining all the elements that I like from my favorite artists, from my inspirations, from things that have influenced me. And I think this album that I'm about to put out, Distorted Reality, I think that's the first one that's gonna mark that turning point where it's like I'm moving toward a direction of like undefinable music where you're not gonna be able to put it in a box. Now that may hurt me at the beginning,
right? Because
like I was watching some videos of like people giving advice to up and coming artists, and everything is algorithms.
Right.
And so like Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, they only go off of what you've done. And like they recognize, like if you make rap music, they recognize you as a rapper.
Right.
So they push your future releases as, you know, whatever, based on the data they collected before. So for me to like just blend all these genres, it might be a little bit confusing to the algorithm, but I think it'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah. Especially since like a lot of like, you know, distribution companies, like when you're uploading on their interface, they're asking you what kind of music is this? Is it country? Is it rock? Is it rap? So that they can, you know what I'm saying, like you said, put your shit in the algorithm when they drop it. It's gotta be tough for people trying to bend the rules. You know what I'm saying?
If it ain't,
it's gotta be done.
If it ain't difficult, man, it ain't worth it, you know? So like, I'm really on some like, I'm just doing what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the best thing, especially now that I'm producing and engineering it, and like I write all my songs and like just in full control, like creatively, and it's just more fun. It's more fulfilling. It's challenging for sure, man. It's definitely a challenge, especially when you're like trying to make something sound like what you hear in your head. But being in control of the whole process from start to finish is like super dope.
One thing I've noticed about a lot of your content is that it's like focused on, you know, artist empowerment, more importantly, independence. I heard on one of your songs talking about like getting out of an old deal. I imagine it wasn't an ideal situation for you. Can you talk about like what kind of deal, what kind of situation you were in, you know what I'm saying, when you were dealing with that?
Yeah, so I think one of my purposes here, right, is to redefine the term industry standard. Because that's an arbitrary term. Like, there's no real industry standard. It's just created on case-to-case basis, and it's been something that's been consistent throughout, at least since I've been alive.
Facts.
Where it's just like exploit artists for the label's gain. It's like a very one-sided thing.
Absolutely.
And so I'm for artist empowerment because I feel like I read this quote where it's like you can't have one without the other. You can't have commerce without the art, and you can't have art without commerce, because that's how you really, you need the people to put the value on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If there's no value, then you can't sell it. You know what I'm saying? Which is not bad, but if you're trying to make a living, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like a little bit of a tricky situation, but I feel like we just need to move more toward a direction where the artists, the deals are more in the favor of the artists, because we're the machine. You know what I'm saying? The labels are the machine behind the scenes, but we're the source that they have to tap. Like, there is no industry without the artist.
Exactly.
Period. Like, you'll be selling socks or something. Like,
Facts.
you can't sell art without art, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I just stand with the artists. I think the artists are always who I look to fight for. I don't really care too much to defend the labels or the people that have been. I'm not really interested in what the label, you know what I'm saying, is I'm not really interested in the label's interest.
Facts.
For me, it's like, how can we help artists? How could we uplift artists and empower artists and put them in better positions to win? You know? Yeah. And then also too, like, I'm not anti-industry. Like, I'm not anti-label.
We need the industry, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we got.
But a lot of artists be like so independent, so like artist-based, and they're anti-label. Yeah. And I'm not anti-label. I think it works for some. I think it doesn't work for others.
I think the label only works when you're a megastar. I don't know how to capture. I don't think they really know how to start. I was talking to Smiles about this. Like, I don't think they really know how to start a fire. They only know how to put gas to it.
So here's the thing. I think culturally they may be out of touch. I think it's a continued theme with dealing with labels, is like everybody's always saying that the A&Rs and the executives are out of touch. And I think there's some validity to that. I think what needs to happen is more creative people need to take that route. And instead of everybody trying to rap or sing, maybe you're better suited to be an executive. Like, I'll give you an example. Steve Jobs is one of the most creative people to ever live, and he never made a song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We need people that have creative minds to go into these other places so that we can relate. Yeah, so like there's a disconnect, man. And it's not that the system isn't working, it's the people that are there that are not doing it. Like, you bring the situation with Smiles, I've had a conversation with him too. Like, even with my deal that I had gotten out of, I felt like the disconnect was more so with the people that were involved as opposed to the infrastructure. Like, if you know what you want and there's a sense of understanding between you and your A&R and your label, then it goes. You know what I'm saying? If they're not trying to make you this when you're that, it can go. You know what I'm saying? And you don't necessarily need to be a superstar. But like, some artists are just not interested in the executive side of things. They don't really care too much about marketing. They don't care too much about finance or the business side. They just want to create. And they may not be a superstar, but they have every right to just want to create. So there should be a more fulfilling route that they could take to where they can still be the artist, even if they're not making pop music, even if their music isn't going top 40. But like, the shit is still valid, you know, and they still feel supported and they feel like they're being taken care of.
But that's really where I take issue with a lot of record companies, is they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could basically be like, all right, this is a single. First they're gonna be like, we need you to, you know, give us your music 6 months in advance so that we can do this shit properly. Like, nobody really needs no one even cares about the music being that ahead of schedule. You know what I mean? Because mostly people are consuming so quickly nowadays that as soon as you drop something, we could jump on it. You know what I'm saying? So you really don't need that much prep. We just need you to put the money behind the marketing for the proper shit at the proper time. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not gonna do that, like I remember having troubles with artists and the label, and it's like, this is the song we're gonna put all this money behind. Like, okay, cool, the song drops. Like none of the ads are in place, none of the shit is. I'm like, yo.
Well, that's something that I've kind of.
Like,
that's like my experience too. Like for my record, when I was in my deal, the song that I put out, I didn't even get to pick it. Like I didn't get to pick the song. I didn't get to I wasn't really involved in none of the decision making.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's valid too. Like we just need people in them rooms that understand, bro. Like it needs to be more visionaries. People that can understand an idea. Maybe they don't know how to wrap their head around what it is exactly, but they know, okay, this guy has good ideas.
Yeah.
So let's back him and let's fund his ideas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's how you get a Kanye. That's how you get like some of these like outstanding, once in a lifetime artists.
Yeah.
Because they have some off the wall ideas sometimes. And for the one that goes crazy, you might have to fund 2 or 3 that are just, that maybe that don't hit right now. But you see a lot of artists get bigger as they get older and as they die because maybe they're just ahead of their time or they're misunderstood in that moment. And then later on, people catch on. So I feel like we lack visionaries, man. But I'm trying to get more into a space where I don't really listen to executives unless I respect their creativity and their ideas. I don't really listen to what they got to say in terms of creative input. I really try to stay away from appeasing to people that I know or fans because it's more about me than it is about anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like I do this as a form of therapy and a form of expressing myself. That's all art is expression. And when you start trying to appease other people, you can get lost and forget who you are.
Absolutely.
And then like from the fan perspective too, it's like, I think Henry Ford said like, if I would have asked people what they wanted, they would have told me a faster horse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's
people don't know what they want,
They
bro.
don't want what they want.
Especially fans, like for music, they don't know what they like until they hear it.
Facts.
So you over here trying to make the song that Drake just made, or you're trying to make the song that Thug or Future or Gunna or whoever just made. Bro, just make what you like.
Facts. Well, shit, man, I appreciate you, man. You spend a lot of knowledge, bro. I really love this interview. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you having me, Brody.
Yeah, you go hop on this Fire Escape freestyle for the fans. Give them some heat.
Hell yeah.
That's dope, man. Thanks for coming by. It's your boy, the Kid Blast. I'm here with 8MatikLogan. You can shout out your socials if you want.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at 8MatikLogan. That's my Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Music as well.
That's what's up. TikTok too?
Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure.
Check us out, man. Appreciate y'all for coming by.